And welcome back to Hero Power. This is episode 30. The big 3-0, guys. Or as some people say, we're going to stay 29 forever. But
that's right. It is our first anniversary of our 29th episode.
Yeah, there you go. I am your host, Avantes. And as always, I am joined by my co-hosts, Zeroshio.
What's up, gang?
And Versika.
Hey, all.
And some of you will remember from way back on episode 8 when we had our good friend from Legend of the Innkeeper. We've got Espo.
Espo, what's up?
Yo, team.
Glad to have you back, sir. And the other big, and I say big guest that we have today is our new good friend, Joster. What's up, buddy?
Hey guys, hey Twitch chat, what's going on?
Oh, we are glad to have you. So, for those of you who may not know Joster, we're going to talk about him a little bit more in a minute. We've got a lot of news to cover this week, and then we've got some great play going on later in the show. But first, Versika, why don't you tell us about a little bit about our partner, Viforce?
Before we do that, real quick. For those listening on iTunes, you're missing out so much because Joster has the most amazing red curls, and you're just missing out by not watching us on YouTube and not watching us live on Twitch. Just wanted to point that out. All right, go ahead.
Hashtag man crush.
Are they better than Frodin's hair? Because I know how much you love Frodin.
Close second.
All right.
Oh, thanks for derailing me before I even got out of the stage.
Go ahead, Versika.
That's what I do best.
All right, so guys, this weekend we had the NA prelims here in Knoxville, and we were able to set up one of the Viforce Impulse machines. And let me tell you, if you didn't get a chance to check it out, it was pretty awesome. I know, Zeroshio, you got to play on it some. And was it just not smooth and fast? And I mean, I know when I was on it, I didn't even hear a fan fire up. I mean, it was so quiet. It looked nice. It just felt so much smoother than what I've got here at home. It was just awesome.
It was amazing. It really has me focused on my next purchase for technology. I believe I'm going to start working on a studio and maybe move this one upstairs. It was amazing, and I've talked about how good the specs are, but I haven't had a chance to use one yet. And I believe that one was the Impulse, correct?
It was, yeah.
Man, that thing is just brilliant. It was so quiet, so quick. It ran all kinds. I ran lots of stuff in the background while I was playing Hearthstone on it and running Battlefy and doing lots of stuff for all our fireside gatherings we had this weekend. Yep. And it's just a wonderful piece of machine. I loved it.
Yeah, it was awesome. Check them out, viforcegaming.com. You can go to our website, heropowerhs.com. Click on the link, head over to their site. They've got 4 machines available to check out. Look at them, see what you think. I know I'm sold. I know you're sold. Now we just got to get Avantes in front of one. But yeah, guys, check them out, and we'll talk more about it later on in the show. But just a shout out to them. Even though they weren't able to make it to the prelims, they got us everything that we needed to set it up and be able to show it, and it was smooth. Everything that we've done with them so far has just been smooth. Yeah. So.
All right, guys. No emails or iTunes reviews this week. So
we had 2 last week.
We had 2 emails last week, and as we always tell you guys, we love to hear from you. So submit. You can send us an email either through our website, which is heropowerhs.com. Click on the Contact Us tab, or just by sending us a direct email to heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. All right, guys, let's jump right into it because it was a big weekend. As we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, we had the honor to be able to host the NA America's Spring Preliminaries for the North America region. And we were one of 23 different locations across the country. Yeah, 23 different venues. And I have to say, I was really excited to be able to do this. It was really kind of a being able to see how the sausage is made kind of thing for me. the whole behind the scenes, how this all comes together. Wait. I had everybody shaking their head.
We are 36. We're 6 minutes in. It is 7:36, and you and James have already made me uncomfortable twice.
You don't want to know how the sausage is made. You don't want to know.
No.
Absolutely. How else am I going to learn how to do this? I'm not going to learn how to do this on my own. I need help. And Blizzard gave me that opportunity to see how they put these things on and how they coordinate across so many venues. It really just kind of blew me away. The level of coordination that they have. And it was probably... I did not get to... I played one game of Hearthstone all weekend long, and it was while we were waiting on Joster's second match on Sunday. We had like a 4-hour block, and everybody was out doing other stuff, and I got to play one game of Hearthstone all weekend.
Okay, so before we get too much further into this, we don't get to brag on you very much.
It's because I don't do anything worth bragging.
No, you're... And I don't know if our listeners know this or not, but Hero Power doesn't run without Avantis. The reason we look so good, the reason we sound so good, the reason everything transitions smoothly is because you do all kinds of work behind the scenes. And really, Zeroshio and I, we're the window dressing. We're here because we're good looking and we sound smart. But you do all the rest of it. And this weekend, I've got to say, this was really you at your best, because the reason the Knoxville venue went as smoothly as it did was because you were in the driver's seat. The rest of us, we helped however we could, but for the most part, this was the Avantis show, and it was about 90% Avantis from early Friday morning till late Sunday evening, from the time you were unpacking stuff to the time we were setting stuff up and taking it down. I mean, this was your swan song, and thank you for being awesome. Thank you for getting out there and doing all this. And I want the listeners to know how much you contribute to the show. Zerushi and I just talk. You do all the other stuff.
I want to put a little clarity in this too. This event contained over 160 players for Saturday and Sunday. That's your legendary. For 160 players for Saturday and Sunday across North America, Central America, South America. And we didn't just have one person show up to our venue. We had a total of 9 people show up to our venue. 4 Tavern Heroes that advanced on to Saturday, along with 5 other prelim qualifiers, for a total of 7 players through the prelims. This wasn't easy to coordinate. 7 players playing mixed variety of games and matches with other players all over North, South, and Central America. Avantis, big applause. I mean, you really did a great job.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun, and I've said that multiple times, that even though I only got to play one game of Hearthstone all weekend, it was the most fun I've had in a long time, just being able to facilitate the ability for other people to have a good time. And with that said, I want to give a shout out to all the players that came to the Knoxville venue. Loxa, Max, maybe next time, Fazabre, Olibrel, Bloody Face, Taft's Bathtub, of course, Joster, and Tom's GQ. Guys, this event would not have been as successful if it hadn't have been for all of you. And the one thing, and I had a debriefing call with Blizzard yesterday, and I told them that the group of guys we had at this venue were amazing. They, some of them got knocked out on Saturday and didn't have to come back for Sunday's event. yet most of them were there to cheer on Joster and Bloodyface, who both had
Oh, yeah.
matches on Sunday. I mean,
Yeah.
that speaks volumes about the Hearthstone community as a whole, how they're willing to stand behind fellow players, and I think that's huge. I really do. I think that's bigger than anything I could have done, is them coming together behind their fellow players. But with that said, let's talk about the preliminaries, because
Oh, before we move on, we also had Espo, who drove
yeah,
4.5
That's
hours.
right.
4.5 hours to hang out with
Yeah.
us. That was awesome.
My wingman. And Espo did a great job keeping things flowing, making sure the main eventers had stuff to drink and snacks and whatnot. And at the same time that we were doing this huge preliminary, we also had fireside gatherings going all weekend with as many as 28 players in the main fireside gathering events, as well as little 8-person satellite tournaments. We had a very busy, exhausting, fun, exciting weekend, and Espo helped us the whole way. We really do appreciate all the help, buddy.
Yeah. I was freaking out Friday morning until Espo showed up. Then it just kind of calmed down. So
It was definitely my pleasure, guys. When about a month ago, when you guys approached me, I was speechless. I couldn't believe that you guys chose me to join you, and immediately made plans to make my way west to Tennessee to join you guys, because I've wanted to hang out with you guys, since you guys started the podcast, and I knew you guys were only like 5 hours away. It just took a little bit, and this was it, and it was awesome, and I appreciate everything you guys did, and it was my pleasure, believe me. You could see it on my face. I had a blast.
And on the list of titles Espo now has, he's my wingman, he's my charity stream buddy, he's my co-host on podcast, and now my roomie.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so real quick. Espo,
Yes.
what was the biggest surprise when you came and saw all three of us in person?
You are a lot taller than I thought you were. No. No,
He is
the biggest surprise. I think the biggest surprise was how comfortable. I mean, I'm comfortable with a lot of people, but I really felt like I knew you guys, like we were friends for a very long time, and it was like, it was like seeing friends that I had, maybe went to high school with like 20 years ago, and kind of kept in contact with. But I mean, it was even closer than that. I really felt like I already knew you guys, and I had been hanging out with you forever, and I think that's because we had been in Skype chat, we had been on the podcasts with each other, and I think that was the biggest surprise. How it was just like I got there Friday, and just I felt included. Like I felt like I was part of the crew, and like Avanti said, I jumped right in and felt like, hey, I'm here. I'm gonna help you out, and I never felt like I was an outcast. You guys really made me feel comfortable. You guys are a great crew, and just shout out to Hero Power, and you guys are awesome.
So, Joster, Knoxville, when you first got
Yeah.
here, what was your first thoughts?
And that's in Tennessee, by the way.
Yeah.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
not Kentucky like you told TJ during your
You guys,
interview.
come on, you guys had to bring that up.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Come on. You just won probably the Hearthstone game of your life. We're not going to hold that
You're
against you.
forgiven.
But seriously,
Thank you.
what did you think when you got here? Was it bigger or smaller than you thought?
I didn't really go around Knoxville until Sunday, so the first day I got here, I just got to my hotel and pretty much just checked out. Checked
Cool.
in.
I got you.
So, I don't really... First time I got there, not really sure.
It's all a blur. You arrived and went to sleep.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get to host summer, and maybe you can come up and help us with that if you want it.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Hey.
Joster's hoping there'll be a venue in Florida.
Oh, I'm
Or
sure.
I'll be in school in Georgia, but
Oh.
I'm sure
Oh,
Josh
I'll be
was
closer.
hoping he doesn't have to go to Summer if he doesn't want to.
Yeah, because he's
Oh, no, I
already
wasn't
qualified
saying
for
play.
BlizzCon.
Oh yeah, I wasn't talking about playing. He's going to qualify. We're not worried about that. I'm talking about coming up and helping us with the event.
Yeah.
As an admin.
All right, but let's talk about this event now because there was 160 I think players across the country and South America and Canada at 23 different venues, and over the course of 2 days there were some great games played, and we narrowed it down to top 8 moving on to the Spring Championships. And those top 8 were Sidonia, who I know Joster got to play, Rosty, PNC, Napoleon, Dwayne, Dear Jason, Bradford Lee, and of course our good friend Joster. So we had a lot of relatively new players making top 8 over a lot of the known names that we've seen in the past. So this was, I felt like in the European preliminaries the previous weekend, we saw a lot of known names that made top 8.
Yeah.
I think this just goes to show, and I'm not trying to call anybody out, but I think this goes to show how well-rounded the players are, and that we're getting so many newer players making top 8 and qualifying for championships here. Versika, what are your thoughts?
I think you're seeing the effects of standard and the effects of the new expansion, the new meta, not having GVG and Naxxramas in there. You're starting to see some of the Grand Tournament cards make an appearance, but I think the reason why you're seeing such diversity at the top is because this meta is still in flux. It's not settled into what it was previously, where people had been playing in it for a year and we kind of knew what to expect. And yeah, the deck lists were made public, but you still only have a certain amount of games played in this new environment, and everybody has the same amount of games played as far as like time invested in this new expansion. We've all had about 5 weeks now, 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's how much practice time you can get in that time, but the meta is still developing, and they brought it up several times on the broadcast. The week before the NA prelims, you started to see this hunter mid-range deck start to come in, and I feel like it changed the landscape of the meta again. So I mean, even coming up to within a week of tournament time, you're seeing the meta alter and adjust again, and we're expecting an adventure sometime in the next 2 or 3 months.
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, I think that will. Go ahead.
Yeah, they said summer.
Yeah, so I think you'll see that adventure come in. I think it will alter and change the direction yet again, and then of course we're going to have 2 or 3 months there, and we'll get our second expansion. So I think what this environment is doing is creating a constantly changing meta, keeping it from getting stale. And I think you're going to see, as the deck archetypes become more powerful and fall by the wayside, you're going to see players who are good at playing those deck archetypes become top rank, and then start to see them kind of slow down a little bit as the meta swings on a downward turn for them, and then come back up when it swings back the other way.
Yeah. Espo, what are your thoughts?
Honestly, like, I'd have to agree with Versika. I mean, I think that's exactly the way it's going to go. It was cool sitting beside him at the preliminaries and being able to talk, because listening to the podcast, he and I kind of think the same, although he actually thinks a lot more before he talks, whereas I pretty much just roll it out as soon as it comes out. It kind of comes out jarbled. But yeah, I'm right with him on that. I think we're gonna see it just like that. So
cool. Zeroshio, go ahead. You look like you're bursting to speak.
Well, and I've been a firm kind of standpoint on the known players and the not known players, but just from being at the event this weekend, I want to give one shout out to a wonderful player that placed in the top 16 and went to day 2 along with Joster, Bloody Face. Bloody Face sent a lot of known players to the losers bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
And so did a lot of our players in Knoxville. And I don't see those players. When I first saw them, I was like, well, a lot of these are no-name players. The most known name I knew was Bloody Face from the winter prelims. But after watching these gentlemen on Saturday and Sunday, they're just hard-working players. These guys are thinking Hearthstone nonstop. They're thinking of odds. They're thinking of plays and what matchups they have to face. All of these players that played at our venue, at least, were putting all of their effort into winning these matches, and they did very, very good.
And we saw that Saturday night. Joster, unfortunately, had left the venue a little earlier, and Saturday night, the four of us, Espo, Versika, Zeroshio, and myself, plus the rest of the players, all kind of went out to dinner together Saturday night. And while we're talking about random stuff, the players are at the other end of the table still talking Hearthstone and talking strategy.
These guys have been at this for like 12 to 13 hours. This is about the time my brain goes, okay, I need to think of something else or it's going to explode. But no.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, I know Joster was sitting in the hotel room just gearing up for day two
Right.
for all those games that he planned on winning. And he did win going into Sunday. So it's just hats off. And that's another thing. We only had Joster and Bloody Face, unfortunately, out of the 7 guys go into day 2. But at dinner that night, all those guys were talking over strategy with Bloody Face. And just before people were leaving, after they've been eliminated, they're talking strategy. They're giving ideas during the cooldown periods where the players are allowed to look up deck lists. It was just amazing, the camaraderie of the eliminated players working with the players that are still in it because they want somebody from that venue to go on. It just was. These guys are just hardworking gentlemen.
So
playing a game.
Yeah. So let's get it from the inside view, Joster. What was your overall thoughts on the weekend?
I agree with everything that's been said so far, pretty much. When I went back to my hotel after the first day, I was dead of Hearthstone, but still I was on my phone. I was looking at different players that were playing, and I was looking at, certain decks and stuff like that.
When did you, and I guess it was probably pretty late Saturday night, once all the other matches had wound down, you found out you were going to be facing Sidonia in your first match on Sunday. What did you do in the hotel room? Did you do anything besides just kind of looking over the decks to prepare for that match?
I looked over the decks, and then I started playing some games with my friends, asking them, hey, try this deck out. I need to practice a little bit. Okay. If I knew my opponent was about to play Reno Warlock, then I would say, hey, can you play Reno Warlock against me for a little bit?
Cool.
Stuff like that.
Cool. Okay, well, and actually, I put out a call to the Hearthstone community, told them, hey, guys, we're going to have Joster on the show this week. If you have any questions, shoot them to me. And I was surprised we got quite a few questions. So we're going to try to go through some of these. Some of them we've talked about, and some of them you've mentioned before. But let's just start at the beginning. What got you into Hearthstone?
Oh, so years ago, it must have been 3 years ago, I think, it was closed beta. And I was playing a different card game at the time, and not many people were really playing it. It was a small indie game. And then my brother said, hey, check this game out. It's a lot better. And it was Hearthstone. So I watched the game for a few months before I got my key. And then when I got my key, I was already pretty good at the game just from watching pros. And, I just fell in love with the game at that point.
Nice. So the big story, I guess, besides you qualifying, was about you skipping your high school graduation. So why don't you give us a little bit of background on that, and are you glad you did?
Oh, I'm really glad I did, actually. I was worried that when I was skipping my graduation to go to this, I was going to lose in the first round or something, and I wouldn't really have any explanation to why I missed it when people were asking. But, now I got a story to tell about it. This is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, so you said that your mom really pushed you to go to this event, right? How does your family as a whole kind of feel about Hearthstone and how seriously you're taking it now?
Well, I think before this last weekend, they weren't really all for it because I didn't have any results. But now, I mean, even my dad, who's not really a huge fan of it, like he watched the stream and he's like listening to different things and trying to help me out as much as he can, which is not very much.
Well, on this subject, I came home and my wife and I talked about, what it must be like as we've got our son graduated high school this year. So, we were trying to put ourselves in that situation where if he had something that he wanted to do that was his passion and that it was his dream, would we encourage him to skip his graduation and go and chase that, or would we, try to convince him to stay and walk because you only graduate once? And we were just back and forth, and we couldn't really put ourselves in that situation. It had to be tough for your parents, but I'm glad they ended up encouraging you to come and make the drive.
Yeah, I told my dad, I was like, "Hey, Dad, I'm thinking about skipping graduation," and he was like, "Okay," because I have 3 siblings that have done it already, and he's listened to enough speeches and stuff like that. So
there you go. That kind of worked in your favor.
Yeah.
Okay. The next question from the community is, how did you decide on your lineup? What kind of drove you to bring Freeze Mage, Aggro Shaman, Zoo, and Tempo Warrior?
All right, I'll tell you. So first what I did is I thought, what's the strongest deck in the game right now? And I thought it was Aggro Shaman. So I decided to build my whole lineup around Aggro Shaman. So I knew that the worst deck for Aggro Shaman is probably Warrior. So I picked 3 decks that were bad, 3 other decks that were also bad against Warrior, since I knew I was going to be banning it. So I ended up going with the Warlock Zoo, along with the Shaman, as well as the Freeze Mage, because that's really bad against Warrior, and also the Tempo Warrior is just a 4th fit that would lose to Control Warrior. And then I decided what was I going to try to beat with all these decks, and I thought probably Rogue, so I made all of my decks really aggressive to try to beat the Rogue before they can do their shenanigans. So
That's interesting, because a lot of the players went into this focusing on banning Rogue or Shaman, but you just bucked up and planned to go head first against it and ban out Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that really, well, obviously that worked for you, but did you have any qualms in that through the tournament, maybe thinking that wasn't the way to go, or you liked that strategy all the way through?
I like the strategy. A lot of people were bringing Rogue just because it's a strong class and maybe they weren't that good at it. And they're expecting it to get banned, but, if they're not very good at the deck and it's not getting banned, then they can't win with it. So it worked out pretty well for me, I think.
Yeah. Next question, kind of along the same lines, is, were there any other decks that you had considered bringing to preliminaries that you then dropped for these 4?
So originally I only could think of 3 decks to put in the lineup, because I wasn't thinking about Freeze Mage because I didn't think it was that strong of a deck. So I was just thinking of what a 4th deck would be that would fit, and I thought maybe I'd bring Aggro Paladin or Beast Druid or something like that, but those decks just aren't very consistent. So I ended up going with the Freeze Mage.
Gotcha.
And it struggled a little bit, but it worked out.
Yeah, a little bit, but it did. It worked out when it counted, and that's what mattered.
And to kind of bring light to that a little bit, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be, you didn't lose any games with any of your decks other than your Freeze Mage, right?
On the last day, yeah. I only lost with Freeze Mage.
That's amazing. That's good piloting of a good set of decks.
We actually got a question from one of your opponents from this past weekend.
Yeah.
So Kellen Abel
Yeah.
He sent us in a question, and he wanted to know what were your thoughts on the event being double elimination format rather than a Swiss format that most other card games use.
I don't have much experience with the Swiss format, so I don't really know how it works that well. But I like the double elimination kind of, because you can see who your next opponent's going to be, and you can get ready to play against them. And, you know, like with the Swiss, I know you don't really know exactly how many times you have to win to advance. Whereas double elimination, you can say, okay, I only need 2 more wins. I only need 3 more wins to do it.
Gotcha.
So I like that kind of certainty.
Okay. The next question was, who did you feel was your toughest opponent or your toughest matchup throughout the bracket?
My toughest opponent was probably the person I practiced with, who's Death. I faced him in like the 3rd round or something, and every time we practiced, he would mop the floor with me. His lineup was really teched out to beat mine.
Gotcha. Well,
So when we came into it, there was one game, it was like a 2-2 series, next winner wins, and he had to draw like 1 damage to win the game with his Shaman, which was like 85% of his deck, and I just got really lucky. And
yeah.
Is that the Pyroblast win?
no,
Is that the
I
one
don't
you
think,
got him at Pyroblast when you were 1 health, or?
I don't. That might have been it.
Yeah.
I don't really remember that.
Was that against Death? I can't remember.
I
Yeah.
thought it was the. Okay. Oh, then yeah.
I don't know.
That actually answers one of our other questions. Somebody had said, did you have any friends or practice partners in the tournament, and did you play any of them? So
Yeah.
you knocked out a second question with one answer. That works.
and that's kind of funny because you did have to knock Death into the losers bracket, and then
Right.
Death actually eliminated one of the other competitors at the Knoxville venue this weekend, Taft's Bathtub. So it was a lot of it was really neat seeing all the different kind of chain of events that happened leading to you getting into the top 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Go
real
ahead,
quick,
Prosika.
Espo, you were the admin that went in with Joster both times. So tell the listeners out there a little bit about your experience being. It's almost like the towel man for a boxer. It's like
Yeah.
you gotta watch them. You gotta watch them lay the beat down and get beaten. You
Yeah.
know, in between rounds, you're in there boosting their confidence. You know, so tell us a little bit about what that experience was like for you.
Okay, so a little background for me. I'm a school teacher, and so I'm used to being in stressful situations and being around people that are testing, right? And I considered this like I was a proctor for like the SATs or something. So I went in there and I had my paper and pencil and Joster's setting up. And for those of you who've never been to a big venue like this, they try to separate the feature matches so that you don't get a lot of background noise, so that you don't get people like walking around behind the camera and moving the backdrop and everything. So it was in a separate room, and and that made it stressful. The first time we were in there, I believe there was icicles hanging off the table. So I kept, Joster's like sitting on his hands, and I'm like blowing into my hands, and it's chilly.
That's cool.
But it was stressful. I mean, I could feel it. The stress was definitely palpable. And in between each match, I tried not to talk to him too much, but give him a little thumbs up and some encouragement, because it was tough. That I have to say it. I almost got stomach ulcers from those 3 losses with the Freeze Mage. I mean, I was burying my head in my hands. It was tough. It was when he went up against Sidonia and got reverse swept. It was rough, and it was definitely an experience that I won't forget, and I'm sure Joster, he probably will never forget that. But it was a neat experience, and I was glad I got to enjoy it. I was glad I got to do that with Joster. It was really, really cool. And of course, at the end, his second match, I was in there also. And at the end, I mean, it was just like he won, and we both just stood up, high fives and bro hug, and it was just, it was really cool. It was really cool, and I'm glad I got to experience it. And shout out to Avantes who told me, hey, get in there, and I want you to, help this kid out. So I mean, I didn't help him at all, but it was just like, having somebody in there to kind of encourage you a little bit, because it was rough going.
Just to give you a little insight, and I'm not sure if you knew this or not, but Avantes and I were sitting outside watching it on his computer, and everyone else was in the other room, and it like the tension inside that last match was so thick that I just had to leave. I left. I went back over to the competitor side, and I sat down with Avantes, and we were watching it on the laptop, and we heard you guys celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
and we both looked at each other, and we were just like,
yeah. Because,
so
go ahead, Espo.
So there's like a 20 to 30 minute delay on it. So of course Joster and I are in there, and we're obviously live, and everyone else outside the room is watching the delayed recording. So we're kind of obviously very, very stressed, but we come out of the room, and like everybody's just staring like, you did it. I because they could hear us celebrating, but yet on the screen we're still in. Well, when we came out, Joster, we were
in the third game.
Yeah, third or fourth. Yeah, it was still right in the middle.
Yeah.
I think it was right before your Freeze Mage match.
Right.
Yeah, and it was.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joster. When you came out of that, so when I came out, I was obviously, like I want to sit down, I want to watch it, But when you came out, how was it? Because what?
I came out after just giving my interview, and I knew that the matches weren't going to be over, and all my friends were texting me. They were like live tweeting pretty much in our group chat, and they were all like, "Come on, you can do it, you can do it." And I wanted to text them like, "Oh, I just did it." No, I just waited for it. I watched the last match, kind of jumped in my chair a little bit, and then when it finally happened, it was great.
Yeah. So the other thing I told Blizzard about in my debrief was after your match, we all sat out there and watched it, and then you said, okay, this is the turn where he concedes. Let's head over next door. And when we walked through that door at Level Up, that place went nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like seeing an NBA player walk onto the court. Everybody who threw their hands up, they were clapping and cheering and yelling for you. And what was that experience like for you? Because I know for me, I was stoked walking in there, but
it felt so cool just knowing that all those people looking at me, clapping for me. I felt like a celebrity. Everybody wanted to take pictures with me. It was cool. It was weird, but it was pretty fun.
It was neat because at the same time that Level Up is doing this event with us, the side events, they actually have some regulars that come in there regularly on Sunday and do some tabletop gaming. So we're being a little loud and boisterous. So the proprietor, Steven, big shout out to him and his wife, Joanna. They did a great job helping us facilitate this weekend. But they're explaining to people, that young man that's on the TV right there, he's next door on the other side of this wall playing his games. So when you finally won, and we saw it on the screen, and you come walking in, these people that don't even know Hearthstone, they don't even play Hearthstone, were cheering and getting excited because they realized that you had just won. It's obviously real important. It was a neat moment.
Yeah.
Versika, did you have something you wanted to add?
Actually, I was going to say the exact same thing Zeroshio just said. No, it's fine. It's fine. When we were kind of loud and they were kind of and they were polite about it. They asked if maybe we could turn it down a little bit, and Steven's just like, this guy is over there, this kid is over there playing the game of his life, and we're supporting him, and so he's just like, we're gonna turn it up a little bit, and when it's over, when it's done, we'll turn it back down. But for right now, this is what's going on, and I applaud him for that. I thought it was a really cool move on his part. It was something
awesome.
he didn't have to do, and he did it anyway, and
Yeah,
that made us feel.
See, I didn't know any of that because I was over outside the door waiting on them to finish, so I didn't know about any of that. That's really cool.
And when they realized it, that this mophead redhead is next door playing to gave his life to go on and represent the Americas in BlizzCon eventually, they understood it and they kind of huddled a little closer so they could hear each other better. But they were really
cool with it too.
A few of them had gotten up and patted him on the back.
Yeah.
And they didn't even know what was going on.
and that was the thing, is that a lot of them didn't really know what was going on, but I would steal glances over, just especially when we would get loud, and I kind of cringed a little bit, but I'd look over and they would be looking up at the screen to see what was going on. So, maybe we made a few new Hearthstone players.
Yeah,
Joster, bringing gamers together.
That's right. All right, so the only other question I've really got for you is, so now we know you're going to California next month to compete in the championship series,
Right.
and now it's my understanding you're 17, right? So
17.
17. So that means you're going to get to take one of your parents with you, right?
Actually, I turn 18 about 2 weeks from today. So
Oh!
I'll be 18 just in time.
Well, happy early birthday then.
Thanks.
So I guess then let me rephrase it. Are you going to take anybody with you to California?
Yeah, I'm actually taking my brother's friend. He was there at the event this past week.
Oh, your PR manager. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be my manager for the weekend.
He was a really nice guy.
Yeah.
He really was.
Yeah. But it was nice meeting him and your brother. They were both super nice guys. I enjoyed having conversations with them.
I guess that answers my question then, because I was going to ask you if you needed a manager.
Too late.
Yeah. Okay. So now that kind of moves us past the listener submitted questions and into our next news discussion topic, which was really kind of fortuitous, and I wanted to discuss with Joster on the show. Yesterday, the Pac-12 released a statement that said, following an internal review of the growing interest among Pac-12 students in competitive video gaming, the presidents and chancellors approved Pac-12 networks to commence esports competitions with Pac-12 universities this upcoming year. Teams from campuses will participate based on a specific game, and the competitions will include head-to-head matchups in studios, as well as tournament in conjunction with a Pac-12 championship event. The game titles and event formats are still to be determined, but will be announced in the coming months. With that said, and you having graduated high school, have you picked a college yet, and have you signed an esports scholarship?
Oh, man, I wish I heard about this sooner. I'm going to school in Georgia, so
that's
no
cool.
Pac-12.
Where are you going to college?
Going Mercer University.
Okay.
Mercer.
Macon,
Very
Georgia.
nice. Very nice.
Well, definitely look up the TESPA chapter at Mercer. Maybe you start Mercer for their first esports division.
There you go. Yeah. So now we know that a major college sports school and a collegiate organization is zeroing in on esports. This could lead to other collegiate organizations like the SEC and the ACC moving into it more and focusing more on esports. Joster, is this something you would like to see at the collegiate level?
That'd be really cool, actually. I think this upcoming class is gonna be a class with like a lot more. Gaming's getting a lot more popular now, so I think it could become like a really big thing.
Nice. Versika, do you have any thoughts?
No, I really want the SEC to get behind this. The University of Tennessee sent their Heroes of the Storm team to the Heroic Four this year in Heroes of the Dorm, and I would tweet at them, and I sent the information into all the local newspapers, Sevierville, Knoxville, Maryville, and I didn't get a response from anyone. I didn't get a response from the University of Tennessee. I didn't get a response from the Knoxville News Sentinel. They didn't even recognize that I'd sent them any information at all, and it was kind of disheartening. I mean, we're Knoxville is UT crazy. If you've never been here, it's orange all the time.
Everywhere.
And to have a UT team of any type get to compete in a championship event and not receive any recognition for it, really, I wasn't real happy about it. But hopefully it's catching on. And what about you, Espo, out in North Carolina? Have you started to see any rumblings of college level esports yet?
So we're real close to UNC and Duke and NC State, and all three of those colleges have chapters in, I guess, at their school, and they've been running events ever since beta, like fireside gatherings and tournaments. And I tried to attend a few of them, but they are run by college students that it's hit and miss a lot. So, but yeah, they're doing it. So I don't know much about the other esports that are going on, but definitely know they're playing some Hearthstone at the local colleges.
Nice. Zeroshio, you got thoughts?
I'm excited for esports in any venue, especially in the college venue, because these kids, these students, these young men and women are going out there and they're just taking all their talent, all their effort, just like Joster did, to compete on such a high level. I would love for another way for them to fund their college. The United States has a hard time right now with students getting into debt going through college. And if this is a way that students can get scholarships and get funding for college, I'm all for it.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar with the schools that are in the Pac-12 that are going to be competing in esports this upcoming year, it's the University of Arizona, the University of Arizona State, Cal Berkeley, UCLA, University of Colorado Boulder, the University of Oregon, Oregon State, University of Southern California, Stanford University, University of Utah, University of Washington, and Washington State. So, and you'll be able to, from what it sounds like, that you will be able to watch a lot of these esports competitions if you get the Pac-12 network, which I don't know if we'll get it out here on the East Coast or not, but it's really cool to see it really kind of growing up and becoming a more mainstream thing. So I'm excited for what the future holds for esports.
Well, it helps when your conference wins 2 back-to-back heroes of the dorm.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's true. Cal Berkeley and Arizona State. So, all right. So that moves us into this week's Tavern Brawl, guys. So this week's Tavern Brawl is called Shadow Towers. Who lurks in the shadowy towers? You do. Skulking behind the tower's sturdy walls, your minions have stealth their first turn. This is a build-your-own-deck Tavern Brawl. All minions have stealth the first turn they're in play. Summoned minions do not get stealth. And each player starts at 30 health plus 10 armor. Joster, have you had a chance to play the Tavern Brawl yet?
Yeah, I've played it, and I think I made a really good deck for it.
What, you want to give away your tech?
Yeah. So I played Miracle Rogue with the questing adventure.
Oh wow, yeah.
Wow.
And that worked really well. But the only problem I was having was that I was losing the early game, so I didn't know how to get that. So I started playing Doomsayer, and everybody was playing aggro shaman, so I would just plop down the Doomsayer and they couldn't do anything to it. So clear the board, play my questing adventure, and then just game was over.
Just go to town, huh?
Yeah.
Nice. Espo, have you had a chance to play it yet?
Yeah, I went straight to Mim's head.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was lots of low cost robots at Mim's head. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I did the whole Doomsayer thing, controlled the board early on, and because I mean they can't do anything. He's a 0/7 with stealth. What he's basically a time bomb.
Yeah.
Come at me. You can't do anything. I got a guy that's gonna charge you 4 times next turn.
Yeah.
Nothing better than Voltron.
Oh yeah. Zeroshio, have you played it yet?
I have. I played a few games. I won on my first time playing Divine Shield Paladin because I assumed people would try to do as much AoE as possible. So Divine Shield Paladin worked really well for me because I played a lot of rogues that were expected a quick early game. So Fan of Knives was used quite a bit. And so it pretty much just negated the Fan of Knives and made it real easy. Now, I did play a lot of people that were trying to do things like just Cthulhu. And the problem with, the good thing is some of your minions that buff, having them in play a turn helps.
Mm-hmm.
But the bad thing is any taunts you put out have stealth, and if they're stealth, the taunt doesn't work. So, yeah, kind of a tip there. Don't try to load your board up with stealth taunts. They don't help you.
Yeah. Thanks for the follow there, Eddie. We appreciate it. Versika, have you had a chance to dig into the Tavern Brawl yet?
I did. I've lost 2 and won 6.
Wow.
Hey,
Look at
that's
that.
good.
Yep, I actually went the exact same place Joster went. I went Miracle Rogue with
Hey.
Doomsayer and Questing Adventurer.
Nice.
But I did, after I won that, I switched up and started playing the Inzoth Paladin. Just controlling it, and then I wanted that big Inzoth turn. So I then switched over to a combination of the Inzoth Rogue and Miracle. And
It's
an amalgamation of that. Took me 2 times to get it working, but
I
then
kind of
gotta be-
did something similar. With
I've got to
the
beat it with
Paladin.
Shaman now.
Oh, nice.
You know what? I went aggro Wind Fury Shaman.
Nice.
So, got out the whirling, and I got out the wind speaker. Yeah, I put wind speaker out and just kind of went to town and beat them down pretty hard with Wind Fury. So, and I won my first game with it, so it worked out. I also ran a lot of spells for control purposes. But it worked out pretty well. I had a lot of fun with it.
Actually channeled my inner Espo a little bit. I played a version of the deck he played against me on Saturday or Friday night. I built a version. I'm going to play it tomorrow, but it's very similar to what he ran against me with the Evolve and the Master of Evolution, but the Wind Speaker's in it. So
yeah. So that brings us to our deck for the week. So, when I reached out to Joster and asked him to be on the show, I told him, I said, we kind of want to, since we're following up prelims, I want you to pick one of your decks that you really had fun with, and we're gonna talk about it on the show. I said, you can pick any deck you want. And I'm thinking, he's probably gonna either pick his Tempo Warrior or his Aggro Shaman.
My money was on Warrior.
And he comes back to me and he says, I think we'll do the Freeze Mage. And my response was...
you guys have seen that commercial where the people's heads pop off and the purple smoke comes out? That's what you did. That's what you did to Avanti.
Yeah, because... And I was like, I seem to remember this post-game interview you had with TJ... talking about Freeze Mage.
If only we had a clip of that.
But in case you forgot, I actually do have a clip. Let's take a listen.
I want to talk to you a little about Freeze Mage, because Freeze Mage was a deck that you had a lot in the early series. You actually 0-3 after going up 2-0 with it in the first series, and then the second series was looking like it was going to go the same way. What do you think of that deck, and do you think it was just variance, or what are your thoughts on Freeze Mage in the current meta?
I think that Freeze Mage is bad, and I'm the deck for good. I'm glad that I finally got the win with it, but I regret playing it in the first place.
Okay. I think Freeze Mage is bad.
Oh,
I
man.
regret playing it in the first place. Let's play some Freeze Mage tonight, guys.
So he let you get away with the Kentucky comment, but he took you to task with your Freeze Mage.
I got to pick my battles, guys.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Well, I'm glad that you're on air to pilot it for us, because this is honestly a deck that I've steered clear from because,
Yeah.
I mean, I know it takes just a ton of practice to make it work correctly.
Yeah, it's a hard deck to play for just somebody to pick it up and go. So let's talk about this deck real quick. This deck has 2 Ice Lance, 2 Frostbolt, 1 Blood Mage Thalnos, 2 Doomsayers, 2 Loot Hoarders, 2 Novice Engineers, 2 Arcane Intellect, 2 Forgotten Torch, 2 Frost Nova, 2 Ice Barriers, 2 Ice Blocks, 1 Acolyte of Pain, 2 Fireballs, 2 Blizzards, 1 Emperor Thorison, 1 Flame Strike, 1 Alexstrasza, and 1 Pyroblast. So, Joster, tell us a little bit about this deck.
Okay, so Freeze Mage is a deck that's been in the game for a long time. And normally what the deck tries to do is it clears off your minions early on with the Frost Nova Doomsayer, and then late on it Alexstrasza's you down to 15 and then it bursts you out. And the deck, it's changed a little bit over the years. It used to have the Antonitis in it that you could generate like a bunch of fireballs and, you know, have infinite burst. But that's kind of faded out. Nobody really does that anymore because with the Forgotten Torch, you have like 4 fireballs in your deck, so you don't need to generate a bunch more. It's a lot more consistent.
Okay, that's cool. Versika, Zeroshio, do either of you guys have any thought? Oh, Zeroshio's shaking his head. Zeroshio, give us your thoughts on Freeze Mage.
I've piloted Freeze Mage a lot, and I feel it's one of my better control decks that I'm good at playing. I notice in here there's always a lot of argument on whether fireballs are better or Forgotten Torch is better. I know I like Forgotten Torch because you can get that early game removal and then that late game extra damage like a fireball at a reduced rate. I notice you're running 2 Forgotten Torches and 2 fireballs. Give us your thoughts on that and why you decided to run so much heavy burn.
Well, a lot of the times with this deck, you struggle because you don't draw the Alexstrasza, so you have no way to reduce them from 15, so you need to have a lot of burn in the deck to get 30 damage sometimes in one turn. So I like having as much as I can to make the deck like more consistent in certain times.
Okay.
I have to say, I love the addition of the Pyroblast. I know you don't see that in every Freeze Mage deck.
Yeah.
I love that you run it. I love that you I love that you use it to finish people off because I don't think people are expecting that from Freeze Mage anymore. I think they're expecting the fireballs, they're expecting the Forgotten Torches, they're expecting the Frostbolt Ice Lance, but you know, I know you drew it and you were at 1 health, I think, and you ended up finishing somebody off with it, which was pretty cool. But I like this list. I do have a question for you though. So you've got 2 Loot Hoarders and 2 Novice Engineers.
Yeah.
Why run 2 Novice Engineers instead of only 1 Acolyte of Pain instead of 2 Acolyte of Pain and 1 Novice Engineer?
Well, I was expecting, because I wasn't banning Shaman, so I was expecting to face a lot of Shaman and Warlock Zoos. So the thing with that is, if you're going up against a minion with 3 attack, the Acolyte of Pain's not going to do anything. It's just going to die in 1 hit in the early game. So with the Novice Engineer, you're getting the card draw, and with the Loot Hoarder, the same thing, and they both contest the board just the same as the Acolyte. So I think that choice is a lot better.
Okay.
Awesome. Espo, do you have any thoughts about this deck?
So this deck gave me a stomach ulcer. For sure. So it's real tough. But in the end, this ended up being the deck that really made me feel good about Joster's win. So it caused some stress, but I like it. I think the Pyroblast is a great addition. I think taking Uncle Tony out and having those Forgotten Flames and having a few of those torches in your hand and getting a tick off of Emperor T is really nice. And I think that happened either once or twice, Joster. Is that correct? Where
Right.
you were able to have it tick and then on a few fireballs and be able to go to face with a bunch of damage.
Yeah, and that's
Okay.
something I noticed during your play is there were times that you would use the Forgotten Torches at times that maybe other options would be available and that might have been a little better, but it almost seemed as if you were making sure that 6 damage torch was put in that deck,
Right.
and that was the whole reason you used it. And I really like that kind of heads-up planning, because that may not be something you even expect to see for another 5-6 turns, but that kind of gave you that hindsight that right at the end of the game you're just short a little damage, and all of a sudden you draw those boosted torches, and there you go.
Yeah. The thing about Forgotten Torches, you really only want to play it when you need more damage or when you think that you want to draw a fireball. Because a lot of times you want to draw your AoEs, you want to draw your card draw, you don't want to draw a fireball yet. But as soon as you think, hey, the game's almost over, hey, I think I need to just get a little bit more burn to win the game, then you play your Forgotten Torches and you start to go for it.
Awesome.
Okay, so I have one more question. Ice Lance. I know a lot of people with Freeze Mage, they wait and they wait and they wait and they try to combo Frostbolt and Ice Lance together to get that final burst. Do you find yourself using Ice Lance more as a defensive tool, or are you saving them for that final burst damage?
I think most of the time when you're at the point where you're using Ice Lance as defensive tool, you're losing the game at that point. Unless, you're in a really good situation that you can afford to do it. But typically you want to try to get the combo offs with a spell damage. So it's like a really cheap way to get extra damage with the spell damage. Which is why I really like Ice Lance.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, well, guys, we're going to check this deck out now during our play portion. So if you guys have not joined us before, we do the first half of the show, which will end up being our audio podcast, and then we do a second half of the show where somebody will actually pilot the deck that we've just talked about, and you'll be able to find that on our website, heropowerhs.com, or on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/ECMMOgamers. So with that, those of you that are joining us on Twitch or YouTube, please stay tuned for the live portion of the show. If you are listening via the audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us at this time. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast, and you can find our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOgamers, or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoyed the show, you can help to support and improve it by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/HeroPower. And as always, we will see you all again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power.
Alrighty, guys. So while we set up for this play portion here, Forsika, why don't you tell us a little bit about Viforce?
All right, so we talked a little bit earlier at the beginning of the show about the Impulse and how impressed Zerosha and I were with the computer. If you've been listening to the show for the past month, we've been talking about the release of a new Viforce machine called the Viforce Element. The Viforce Element is a sort of like a gaming intro computer. It's going to be their base model, and it was inspired by Hero Power. So now the lead up is kind of done. So we're expecting to see the Element on the Viforce site sometime in the next couple of days, at which point you'll be able to purchase it. And like we said before, it's an entry-level gaming machine. If you're just getting into PC gaming, or you're looking to upgrade from like a, let's say, a desktop replacement laptop up into an honest-to-goodness desktop gaming machine, this is the perfect start for you. It's going to be around 500, and what that's going to get you is a disk drive, wireless capability. You're going to have some hard drive options, some graphics card options, and all of this is stuff that you can mix and match on the website itself. So what I recommend you do is, if you're looking to purchase the Element, get in touch with the guys at ViForce. They're amazing. Tell them what you want to do, and they're going to point you in the direction and the options that are going to work for you. That's what really separates ViForce from everybody else, is that they want to tailor your gaming computer for your needs. And not only the price is great, but you're not going to find that customer service out of any box store ever.
That's right. All right, so Joster, you ready to play a couple of games for us?
Yeah. You want me to queue up?
Yeah, go ahead and queue up, and then I'll just I'll spectate you. And
All right. So I think I'm gonna play casual
okay.
because right now the ladder's really boring with all the shamans and warriors.
And look at that, you are currently top 10 legend, sir.
Right.
Congratulations.
So I wouldn't want to lose that either.
Yeah.
Definitely don't want you to lose that. So, yeah, definitely casual is fine with us. We just want to see you in action.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
your opening hand here is Acolyte of Pain, Blizzard, Ice Barrier, and Loot Hoarder. What do you normally look for in your starting hand?
Typically, I'm looking for the 2-mana card draw minions, and since I already have one, the Loot Hoarder, I'll go ahead and keep the 3-mana Acolyte of Pain to keep it on curve and start drawing my cards.
Okay. Okay, so you're going to throw back the Blizzard and the Barrier. Okay. And you get a Blizzard and a Flame Strike.
That seems to happen to me all the time. I'll throw a card back and get the second copy of it in my hand.
And I love that you're rocking the Heroic Next Ramus card back. I love that. That's one of my favorites.
Favorite. Yeah.
It's one of my favorites.
All right, so your opponent just kind of passed on his first turn.
Right, so I don't have to rush. So I'll just go ahead and pass it right back.
Okay.
I changed over to my Power Core card back today.
So did I.
So your opponent used his hero power to ping your face for 1.
So now I'm starting to think that he's also a Freeze Mage because of how slow his plays are.
Mm-hmm.
Which will kind of help me out whenever he plays a secret.
So on your turn, you just put out the Loot Hoarder and pass. Your opponent's turn 3, he plays the Acolyte and passes.
That was a really good draw into a Forgotten Torch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I could either play the Acolyte since he only has a 1 attack minion, but then he gets an extra card draw as well. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do the Forgotten Torch.
Okay.
Plus
Forgotten Torch his Acolyte.
Right. So that also puts the Fireball in my deck.
Excellent.
In this matchup, the burn is really important.
Okay.
And that's exactly the situation you were talking about earlier. So it's Cthulhu.
This guy is not a Freeze Mage.
No.
Ooh.
So he played a what's it called?
Twilight Elder.
Twilight Elder, yeah. And then he arcane missiles. So that makes it your turn 4.
Mm-hmm. A couple of choices here. I could just play the Intellect, but that doesn't do much to the board, and he's just going to hit me for 3. So I actually really like playing the Acolyte and coining out the ping on it. Because this will soak up the 3 damage, and it'll also get me 2 cards. So I really like that play.
There's your win condition.
Yep.
Yeah. Just drew into the Pyroblast.
Okay.
So he just cast a Disciple of Cthulhu to kill off your Acolyte.
This is I'm not seeing a lot of Cthulhu Mage, to be honest. That's kind of new.
So if I play the Arcane Intellect, I'm going to be sitting at 10 cards, which means I have to play another one.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I want to play
would be
another one.
Frostbolt at 5 mana.
Right, but at the same time, I don't want to waste my Frostbolt since I have the Blood Mage Frostbolt Ice Lance combo.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd probably be a good thing to save.
You think a Nova into a ping?
Yeah, I think that's probably my best choice since I have 2 Frost Novas and a Blizzard. I have more than enough freeze.
Okay.
And then the hero power, I'll probably just kill his guy. So I don't want to tell him I have Blizzard by pinging the other guy.
Right.
Gotcha.
So just take it slow, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. He plays Elise Star Seeker.
Wow. What?
This is,
Why would you play
This
Elise
deck is
with
something
Cthulhu? Because it's just gonna kill your Cthulhu. Oh, I don't know.
okay, that was a really good draw. Because I don't want to freeze this board since it's only 6 attack. It's kind of a waste. So now if I play the Arcane Intellect, I have a follow-up to it by playing my Secret. My Ice Block. So I'll go ahead and do that. And here's my golden Ice Block, so...
Yeah.
I tried to make this deck all non-gold, but I don't have 2 non-golden Ice Blocks, so...
Gotcha. So he is attacking in with his 2 creatures and playing a Black Knight.
He was testing your secret, wasn't he?
Ooh.
You just
Okay,
top
so-
deck Alexstrasza.
So I know how I'm going to win this game, and I'm going to Alexstrasza him on 9 and do my Blood Mage combo on 10 and kill him that way.
Okay.
So for now, all I have to do is stall. I could Flame Strike, but that's not going to kill his minions.
Nope.
So if I Blizzard now and Flame Strike next turn, that'd be much stronger for me.
Okay.
I like that.
And save my Ice Lands.
So turn 7. I want to point out, turn 7, he says he already knows how he's going to win the game. And points it out to us.
And with Freeze Mage, an aggressive Freeze Mage like yours, you're really looking to win the game turn 9 or 10, right?
Right, that's exactly the point.
So do you think what he's got is a counter spell?
He just got that secret from the Scarab, so that secret could be anything. And I would normally want to throw out my Ice Lance before the Flame Strike to test for that counter spell. But then I lose I don't have enough to kill him. So this is a little bit tricky.
And you don't have another 2-mana spell other than Frostbolt to test before Blizzard.
So what I'm thinking about doing here is actually... I can't have my Ice Block triggered this turn. So I am just going to throw out the Ice Lance to test. And there it is. Okay, that was really good.
Good
And
call.
then Flame Strike will kill his blade.
Great play.
Good call. Now this changes your choice for win condition, though, right?
Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to Alexstrasza him turn 9. Oh, sorry. Alexstrasza him turn 9. Then turn 10, I'll do my Blood Mage attack, my Blood Mage plus those 2 spells. And then I have another Ice Block in case he procs it. So I'll just kill him over 2 turns.
Okay.
But there's a really good chance that he doesn't actually hit my Ice Block.
So he's casting
he's
Kabbalist
digging now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's looking for answers.
Flame Lance.
Wow.
Okay, so this turn I can do 12 damage, but that's not enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play my biggest, clunkiest minion, since I don't have to deal with his board right now. My biggest, clunkiest card, so I'm just going to go ahead and Pyroblast him right in the face.
Okay. So 10 straight to the dome for
Right.
putting him at 5.
I like that.
I'm in a really good spot right now. I think the only way I could lose if he's like a Reno deck. So,
Which he could be anything at this point. Ooh.
great.
But as long as he doesn't pop your Ice Block.
He's still not even
Good.
popping my Ice Block, so I'm still in a really good spot.
Yeah.
So I win right now unless that's Ice Block for his side. So I'm going to try to put him down to 1 health. But that's a
Counterspell.
Anyway,
So
I'll just go
Fireball
kill him.
or Roaring
Yep,
Torch
there you
wins
go.
it. Excellent.
So that's the
Yep.
win.
Good job.
Okay. I feel a lot better now.
If only my opponents in the tournament are playing Cthulhu Mage.
I know.
Cthulhu Elite Starseeker Mage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and do another one here, just so
Right.
people can get a good feel for the deck.
Wow.
I think we've got time for one more at least.
Usually Freeze Mage decks, and one of the reasons we don't usually play it on the show is they take a long time, but your variant really doesn't.
Yeah, this is the same guy. So
Oh.
The only
that
one's
poor
in
guy.
casual right now.
It's his lucky night. He's like, great, I drew Joster again.
He's like, this is why I don't play on the ladder, and I got him.
He's calling his friends, being like, hey, guess who I'm playing?
He should be calling his
Ooh.
friends and saying, hey, check out Hero Power.
All right, so he started off with a mana worm into a jeweled scarab this
It
time.
almost looks tempo, but we know it's not.
He's
All
got
right.
quite the plethora
He
going on here.
does.
So I have a couple of
Definitely.
things I can do this turn.
Mhm.
I could kill his Mana Worm with the Forgotten Torch. I could play the Loot Hoarder. But he just played a Jeweled Scarab, so he has a 3-cost card in his hand that I think he's going to play. So if I play the Acolyte of Pain right now, he's probably going to play a Secret or something. So he can't really deal with the Acolyte of Pain that easily. So
Okay.
Gotcha.
it's really strong.
like it.
Yeah, that is good.
Good hindsight. I never would have thought of that.
That's why you're not ranked
there's the
8
card.
in Legend.
That's right. I've been legend once. Thank you. Once.
Ooh, he's not even killing it.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's an interesting play on his part. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to punish him for doing that. So I'm going to save Frost Nova Doomsayer for turn 5. And I could Forgotten Torch and trade here if I wanted to, but I'll just go ahead and save it and just kill his minion for free.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he didn't, unless he was hoping
Yeah.
to ping it next turn,
Right.
or thought maybe you'd run it into the 1/1.
So he just got the Twilight Elder back out on the board.
Yep. And so I got a couple of choices of what to do next turn, but next turn I'm definitely going to do Frost Nova Doomsayer. So I'll just try to draw as many cards as I can for now and not really worry about his board at all.
Okay.
So just play my 2-card draw minions.
And with the Loot Hoarder, if you do draw off that only puts you at 9 cards. And which
Right, yeah. Always making sure you don't overdraw. Typically, Frost Nova Doomsayer is the best on turn 5 because turn 6 you play Emperor Thorson on an empty board. I don't
Gotcha.
have that, but I'm still going to go ahead and do it and go and slow him down a little bit.
And you can be a little aggressive with your removal because you have both Blizzards in your hand, right?
Right. So, yeah.
So unless he's main decking Polymorph, you're in a good spot here.
well, he could waste a
So he plays a secret.
fireball and hero power on it, but he's not.
He's starting to go more aggressively.
Yeah. So he played a secret and he frost bolted you to the face.
So, we know that he runs the
Counterspell.
counterspell.
Yeah.
And I don't want Ice Block to be counterspelled. So, I'll go ahead and test for it with the Forgotten Torch before I play my Ice Block.
Oh, that's not it.
Okay, so it's not it. So
Yeah.
it might be Mirror Entity. We'll have to see.
Which is fine because you're usually not putting enough threats out that you're worried about
Right.
getting caught.
So what else? Let's see. It could be
It could be his own ice block.
Vaporize or
Yeah.
Spellbender.
Yeah,
I would imagine it's probably Mirror Entity though.
Because this could be Freeze Cthulhu Elise Starseeker Mage.
Because that's a thing. That's the
It
thing.
is tonight.
Alright. I can't really deal with this board really easily. So here's what I'm going to do. So it is Mirror Entity.
Okay.
Order. That's not bad.
Yeah, and I can just kill that with my hero power. And play the Ice Barrier. He's pretty close to overdrawing himself, actually. So
Yeah,
killing the
I noticed.
Manatide isn't that big of a deal.
Oh, he is running a lot of secrets.
Yeah.
And he plays Beckoner of Evil. So we're on turn 7. Last game on turn 7, you saw your win condition. Are you seeing anything yet that you think may wind it up?
I got 16 damage in my hand with the Blood Mage
Mm-hmm.
and all the spells. So I only need maybe a Pyroblast more.
Why you did that math fast? Like I didn't see it.
Matt at Arms in chat says he has all the win conditions.
Yeah, I meant foresight, chat.
I'm expecting it to be Counterspell. So normally I should play the Ice Barrier, but I don't have a good follow-up to that. Next turn I want to play Blizzard Ice Barrier.
Okay.
So probably just Blizzard this turn, since I have 2 of them.
Yeah.
Okay,
that
and it
makes
didn't get
sense.
countered. So that's fine.
And now I know why my wife might have been glancing at me funny because I was saying hindsight instead of foresight. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate you being there for me.
So there he goes,
Ooh.
Bran Bronzebeard, Ethereal Conjurer.
I'm starting to think this is a Reno Jackson deck.
Wait,
There's just a lot of stuff here.
So it's a Freeze, Elise, Rito, Cthulhu deck.
and Braun. Braun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
Bron.
Bron.
It's an Explorer deck. And they find Cthulhu.
Oh, that could be good.
Yeah, that could be alright.
But I mean, a Flame Strike clears the board as well, so.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about playing. I'm going to go ahead and play the Flame Strike. Now, I have an option of playing the Doomsayer now, so he can't do anything next turn, or hero powering him. And I really like doing the hero power, since I've got a lot of burn in my hand. I'm going to start killing him. Every 1 damage counts, so
Yeah.
I want to get in those little 1 minute.
Yeah.
We really like the hero power, too.
Yes, we do. Don't forget to use your hero power.
Oh,
Well, that's not bad.
No, that could have been worse.
I obviously have to freeze that, and I don't want to waste my Frostbolts or Ice Lance, so I'll Blizzard.
Into Doomsayer?
Yeah, and I'm gonna play, even though he just got 2 spells from the Conjurer, so I'm assuming he has an answer to Doomsayer. But I'm gonna go ahead and play it anyway and force him to have that answer.
And he's got to be at 10 cards in his hand, so he has to cast something.
So
Right.
we're pretty sure now that secret has got to be either barrier or ice block. Oh, there's the polymorph. Versika called that a few turns ago.
Yeah.
okay. So the second. Okay, so he definitely has a mirror entity and a counter spell up. So what do you want to give him? I guess. Do you want to toss out the Blood Mage now to trigger the mirror entity and ping it off with your hero power?
Well, that can't be a mirror
Well,
entity or
the
what a
second
copy
one
of
could be
Doomsayer.
Mirror Entity.
Second one could
Yeah,
be.
he
It's
just
not a
played
counter-
another one, so.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I'm sorry. One of them's a counter spell. One of them's a mirror entity. So, what is your thought process here? What do you? Because you have to trigger them before you can start your win
Well,
condition.
The second secret came from the Conjurer, I think.
Mhm.
So that could be anything. I think I want to play the Thorson. and hope it's not the entity,
Okay.
and we'll see. Okay, so it is.
Oh, it is.
That's
Okay.
Slow. So to survive, I want to Ice Lance. It sucks to do it, but I'm gonna do it anyway, and play my barrier. The question is to go face. I'm hoping he doesn't have his own barrier. Okay. So I'm thinking the first secret's Ice Block, which is really bad for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I might just cycle my Blood Mage soon.
Okay.
Which is usually pretty bad.
And you've been through pretty much all your board clear. Ooh.
All right, so you drew into an Ice Lance. 13 health, 3 armor.
Do you just go for face?
I think that's probably my best plan.
Yeah.
You do have another ice block.
Because even if I freeze his Cthulhu, he's still probably going to be able to proc the Ice Block.
Right.
Yep.
So if I do the burst damage now, I'll be about 1 fireball short. So maybe I'll drive the fireball next turn, and I have 2 chances to do it with the Blood Mage dying.
Oh, yeah.
And play my other Ice Block next turn.
Right.
So in a sense, you have, what, 3 turns to find the answer?
3 draws.
And it's important to note that he's at 5 now.
Yeah.
And those pings early that you were talking about have come into play.
Yeah.
Because he's now, Fireball is now lethal.
So now he just played another secret. So in case it is Ice Barrier, we don't want to attack with any of the minions, right?
Right. Oh, yeah, I guess. I don't think my minions are going to survive.
At least we drew into a spell so we can test for counterspell without burning our ice block. Cobblestone Stone, we got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
That's one thing with Cobblestone. It's hard to predict what your opponent's going to do because you don't know what they got.
So are you going to test for the counter spell with the Arcane Intellect?
Yeah, that's pretty much my only choice right now.
And it was.
Well,
so
I mean, it's still not a bad spot.
I have one play I can make and just put him down to 1 health. Hopefully that's like Spell Bender or something, and maybe he can't kill me this next upcoming turn and I can kill him. But
no,
that's probably Ice Block.
Probably Ice Block, yeah.
Yeah, so do you have any...
I Ice Lance the...
I was trying to think, do you have any of your freeze spells left? Have you used both of your...
I think I still have Frost Nova
Frost
in my deck.
Nova, yeah.
But likely he's going to put me down to 1 health, and that's not going to be an option.
Gotcha.
Because he'll just ping you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only thing... No, there's nothing you can do, because even if you draw Alex Straza, you die to Cthulhu. So.
Right. So we drew Arcane Intellect, drawing into it.
These would have been nice a little bit earlier.
Right,
yeah.
The Roaring Torch and Fireball are the draws.
And,
because if you could have popped his block, then
you would have had one turn.
Yeah.
Unless he had a second block. It was a good match, though.
Yeah, I think the reason I lost that game is because I played the Frost Nova Doomsayer way too early.
Okay.
I think I just blew that ability.
Okay. So that makes you 1-1. Do you want to play a third game real quick and see if we can pull out the series?
I guess I have time.
Okay.
Yeah, we customarily try to do 3 games when we have the time to. And Versika's not going to turn into a pumpkin, and it's early
Despite
enough.
popular belief.
At Nari in chat says, Joster, you should steal this guy's deck for the next tournament. It's just too packed with goodness.
If we get him a third time, okay.
Oh no! This is my ban. I thought I banned Warrior.
This is bad.
Well, let's not make fun of this guy's deck because we made fun of the last guy's deck. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
work out
true
so
that.
well.
Yeah.
True.
So this guy's a geneticist. So we ought to see a lot of
Okay.
minions.
So typically against Warrior, the Loot Hoarder and the Novice Engineer aren't as good because they have, you know, guys like the Armor Smith and the Acolyte of Pain. So I think Arcane Intellect is a good start.
Okay. We drew into that Novice Engineer and the Frost Nova.
Mom, I'm doing a podcast. Okay. We're almost done, Mom.
It's a famous Joster's mom. It's okay.
Josh's mom, famous.
Right.
Alright, wait for this guy.
Warrior.
He's pulling up the stream right now.
Yeah, stream snapping.
He's like, but I don't see Joster anywhere.
And that's something else. You told me the other day that you're thinking about you may start streaming more. Is that right?
Yeah, I think maybe later this week I'm gonna actually start streaming.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'll definitely subscribe.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
I actually have a tournament this Saturday that I got to gear up for. A little small one. So I was thinking about looking at some of your lineup and see if there's anything there that gives me inspiration.
All right, so you drew a fireball.
Yeah.
Is this an arcane intellect turn, or are you
Right.
going
I was just about to say, if you have a bunch of 3-mana things to play, it's always good to draw your cards first before you do these things that don't really impact the board or anything.
Okay.
So I got a good hand shaping up. You're all right hand.
So you've got Frost
Ooh.
Nova, 2 ice blocks, Ice Barrier, Fireball, Frost Bolt, Loot Hoarder, and just drew an Ice Lance.
So I could play my secret, but he's not really doing any damage to me, so I'm just gonna keep trying to draw cards. Taking out his armor.
Think he's waiting for something he can use a weapon on?
Probably. Oh, you weren't asking me.
Oh, there it is.
Yep, there we go.
And he just armored up before attacking, which is like the worst thing you can do against Freeze Mage.
Which tells you he's probably not running Battle Rage?
Which tells me he's probably not a very experienced player.
That too.
So I'll just go ahead and keep trying to draw cards.
Okay.
Keep my board presence up.
Man-at-Arms asks if we're doing the Tadpole Hearthstone. I don't have a plan to. I don't have the info on that.
That reminds me, guys. Matt, again, I am so sorry. It slipped my mind. I was so excited we were having Joster on.
Oh no.
If you're a member of the Tadpole, and you listen to Hero Power, join the Tadpole Hearthstone tournament. It starts at the end of the month.
Ouch.
Oh.
Mm,
Oh.
Tough. That's tough.
Oh man, what?
yeah. He made your overdraw.
I lost my Alex.
Hero Power is providing the
Oh,
prize
iconic.
for the Tadpole Hearthstone tournament, guys. It'll be a $20 Battle.net card. So go sign up, play. It'll be a lot of fun.
Okay, so you overdrew Alex, but he's looking at it as a typical Freeze Mage, so he's expecting Antonice. He's not expecting the Pyroblast.
Yeah.
He's got 41 health, and I can't even reduce it by the Alex. So I guess I'll just wait it out. Nothing to do here, really. I could play the Torch. but I want to draw my card draw before I draw my fireballs, so I'll just wait it out.
Okay. There's the armor smith. So
the armor smith can get him a lot of armor, so I want to try to kill that with the Doomsayer.
Okay.
And that'll free up some room so I can play my intellect. And I'm forced to play a card here, so I'll just roaring torch him right in the face.
Okay.
Hey, that gets you the 6 damage torch.
Yeah. I'm
But
still
you're gonna
looking for
need
my
that bird
Emperor.
now.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, and he gets the gore howl.
Man, this guy's
Ouch.
killing me. Oh, he didn't attack it.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
What?
What just happened?
All
Okay.
the answers,
What?
and he did not play it. Wow.
That experience though.
Are you going to
Yeah.
freeze his face at all?
The thing is, to freeze his face, I'd have to lose
Yeah.
part of my Blood Mage combo,
Fair enough.
and I'm
That-
fine with him taking the 5 damage. Hopefully, he doesn't have like bash. Oh,
Oh.
Yeah, it's bad.
He has bash.
Oh my gosh.
A very controlly warrior. He comes back with his
Wow.
own Doomsayer.
I'll go ahead and clear off some armor.
Yeah, I
Since
was
I
gonna
have
say-
to play a card this turn.
Pyroblast actually doesn't look bad here.
Yeah.
That reduces him to 35.
Yeah. And I can't have Alex.
Wow.
My only saving grace is that he hasn't played the what's it called?
True Heart.
Justicar, yeah.
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 So let's try to get my fireball. So I'll torch before I draw.
Okay.
I didn't get it, but that's alright.
And basically, you're trying to make sure to do more damage to him each turn than he's gaining in armor.
Man, I really got nothing here.
Hmm.
I don't want to throw out my Blood Mage because I could get more value with it later.
Yeah.
I do have to play a card, so I'll just Flame Strike this one minion.
Okay.
Well, a flame strike's going to work against you if he puts out an armor smith and several other minions anyway. So
Well, if he puts out the Armor Smith and several other... Oh, yeah. I'm just about to say, the Flame Strike would be bad for me.
So you think he's specifically saving the Gorehowl for Antonidas?
I think so.
Maybe.
I would.
That's why
That's
he
the
I
only,
think-
Alex has been burned. That's the only way a freeze mage typically beats you at this point, right?
Not Alex, I mean Antonidas.
Right, but he saw the Alex already burned, so
Yeah.
if he's thinking this is a traditional freeze mage, then he's waiting on the Antonidas because at this point it's the only thing he feels like can.
Gotcha. Because I've been sitting here trying to figure out why he didn't use it on the Doomsayer, and that's the only thing I could think.
Yeah, and I think he really telegraphed that by not taking out the Doomsayer when he had the chance.
Okay, so I've got two options this turn. I can either play the Blood Mage and do a bunch of damage to him,
Okay.
which is 20 damage.
Wow.
Okay.
But if I draw a Fireball, I'll have enough mana to play it with all of that stuff. So I'll just wait until I draw the fire.
Okay.
But that's only one. Ah, man. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it and start to put him on a clock before he draws his Justicar.
Okay.
And this
and that
way,
way
the
you're
Blood Mage will
emptying
draw
your
one
hand a
card.
little bit too.
Yeah.
So Espo, you starting to get that feeling in your gut again?
It's this deck. I'm telling you, this is something else.
Familiar territory, right?
And there's
Ooh,
the
Roaring
Roaring
Torch.
Torch.
Yep. Oh, man.
Gotta get that armor.
So that puts him back up to 19 after the damage.
I could play the Doomsayer, but it just dies to the weapon.
Yeah.
It's not feeling very good.
If he uses it, because he really seems to be hesitant, and you have no Antonitis.
I'm fine with him hitting with his minion, so I could play my next Ice Barrier. So I'll just go ahead and wait on it.
Do you think he'll whirlwind here? He
Um,
already used one revenge.
He might be afraid of another Flame Strike, so he might not damage his own minions. I still have my Pyroblast.
So
No, you
we
used
already
the
used the
Pyroblast
Pyroblast.
Pyroblast.
Oh, I did? Oh,
Yeah.
man.
To take
So-
him down
I
to
can win this
30,
game. I don't have enough
25
damage.
or 35.
But I was gonna say, at this point, do you Frostbolt him to face and lay out the Doomsayer in the hopes of clearing that minion?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to Frostbolt him to the face anyway, this game. So I might as well just do it now.
And you've used both your Ice Lances already, so.
Yeah, and there's no way I'm gonna beat him to fatigue since I'm 5 cards deeper than him.
Yeah.
So I don't see my win condition this game.
That's another skill, is knowing when you pretty much have lost your win condition.
There we go. We see Elise again. How
Yeah.
about that?
And we actually, Versika wrote a article on our website a few weeks back called, what was it, Know When to Hold 'em, Know When to
Yeah.
Fold 'em?
I think I still have a Fireball left, actually. So,
Actually, I think you do.
You do
so
still
there's a
have a
50-50. If
Fireball.
he doesn't have any more armor, I could just win the game right now. There's the Armor Smith. Let's see if he can proc it. Oh,
Oh.
Yeah, 2 points.
I'm gonna be one off.
Yeah. Trying to think any other have in here.
Oh.
The
There it
second
is.
Armor Smith off the top. That's,
Oh.
let's just see what my last card is. I don't have any more burn left. It's probably
Yeah.
like,
Isn't it a Novice Engineer?
yeah.
I've
I think
used
that's what it
2
is.
of them.
Oh, it was a close one.
It was a very, very close game.
I mean, he is holding on to that Gorehowl. He is convinced you have Antonitis in your hand.
Yeah.
You know
Oh,
it
it's
was a
Blizzard.
This is the point of the game that I like to call the concede.
Yeah.
Play out your cards, ping yourself, and then go for the concede.
It's amazing
There
to
you
Pretty good
concede
strategy there.
Excellent.
at 31 health.
Yeah. Because there's no way I could kill him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, you did probably 60 points of damage to him total that game.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's incredible.
And I would have
I
won
think-
that game too if I got that Alex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just goes to show how managing your hand really, how important it is not to burn cards.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm up to rank 7 legend.
Oh, okay.
So somebody at the top
Hey,
of
How
the
you
did
lost.
you get to 7 less? That's
You
amazing.
didn't even play. Didn't even play. Look,
He's
he's
climbing the
so
ranks and not
good.
even doing anything.
He's so good. He just sits there. Yeah.
Oh, all right, guys.
Alright.
That's going to pretty much wrap it up this week. We're going to do a real quick last word. Zeroshio, what do you got?
Bird. That's the last word. No. Thanks everybody for coming this weekend. Thank you, Espo, for coming up and being my roomie wingman. And definitely thank you, Joster, for representing us in the top 8 on June 25th, 26th. Have fun in, what is it, LA or Hollywood?
Yeah.
Out there?
LA,
Yeah.
I think.
Fun out there in LA, and yeah, just keep playing, buddy. I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Versika?
I learned more Hearthstone probably this last weekend than I've learned in the past year. It's an awesome experience. Love getting to hang out with you guys, getting to pick your brains and listen in on your conversations. And Espo, thanks for making the drive up and finally getting to hang out with us. Thanks for coming on the show tonight. It wasn't Zoo Warlock like we thought it may be, but well, we would like to have you back on when we do that deck, though. But yeah, just Joster, congratulations. I'll be sitting on the edge of my seat watching you in the single Olymp. Oh, real quick, that was my question. I remembered it. So you have to bring 5 decks to single, or is it 6 or 5 decks to the championship?
5 decks. I think.
5. Okay, so they ban 1. You play 4.
Best of 7, right?
Yeah, best.
Yeah. So any idea what your other 2 decks are going to be? Well, actually 3, since you're not bringing Freeze Mage.
I thought about it a little bit today, and I think I actually might end up bringing Freeze Mage, even though how bad it was. So I was looking for what the last deck would be, and I'm not quite sure on it yet if I go with the same strategy, unless I just completely change my strategy, which I could also end up doing.
Yeah.
Don't tell too many secrets, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Espo, do you have anything you'd like to add at the end?
Of course, I want to thank you guys for having me on again. I want to thank Joster for coming out last night and tonight. He was actually on our podcast over at Legend of the Innkeeper last night, and we were a lot more casual and didn't put him through the ringer as much as you guys did. But that's cool. That's cool. He's got to get used to it, right?
Yeah, we had a couple of good games yesterday.
We did. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, that
and that's what
Yogg
our
Saron
podcast
match.
is about. Right?
That was something.
But yeah, shout out to you guys over at Hero Power. Shout out to Joster, and want to say good luck and have fun, man.
Yeah,
Thanks.
absolutely. Joster, you got anything you want to add?
Nope, I had a lot of fun tonight, and I had a lot of fun yesterday, so it's been pretty great these past few days.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you again for coming out and joining us, and I want to thank everybody in chat for hanging out with us tonight. It was a lot of fun having you.
Blowing it up.
Guys, check us out next week, Wednesday, June 1st. We're going to have another special guest joining us. That's Bloody Face will be live on the show next Wednesday night, guys. So tune in, 7:30 Eastern. We'll see you all next time. As always, good gaming.
Bye-bye.
See ya.